The pregnancy test sat on our bathroom counter like a loaded gun. My wife Nicole held it up with shaking hands, 2 pink lines clear as day. "I'm pregnant," she whispered. I should have been happy. We'd been trying for 3 years. 3 years of negative tests and doctor appointments and her crying in my arms every month. But something felt wrong. The timing was off. We'd barely been intimate lately because of her work schedule. She traveled constantly for her marketing job, sometimes gone for weeks. "When exactly did this happen?" I asked carefully. She looked away. "Last month, during that conference in Boston." "But babe, I wasn't with you in Boston. You went alone." Silence filled the bathroom. Her face went pale. The test trembled in her grip. That's when I knew. Something terrible had happened and my perfect marriage was about to explode. If this story makes your blood boil, stick with me. Sometimes the truth is darker than you can imagine. My name is Connor Walsh. I'm 31 years old. I work as an accountant at a medium-sized firm in Portland, making decent money but nothing flashy. Nicole and I met in college, fell in love fast and got married at 24. Young but we were sure. My dad, William Walsh, is 58. He's always been my hero. Successful real estate developer, strong, confident, the kind of man everyone respects. After my mom died 5 years ago from a heart attack, he threw himself into work. Nicole was incredibly supportive during that time. She visited him often, helped him organize mom's things, cooked him meals. I was grateful she cared so much. Dad and I stayed close. Sunday dinners at his place became our routine. He'd grill steaks, we'd watch football, and Nicole would bring dessert. Perfect family bonding. Except now, standing in this bathroom watching my wife avoid my eyes, I started remembering things differently. Those long visits to help Dad. Those conferences that took her near his investment properties. The way they'd laugh together at dinner. Nicole went exactly in Boston. My voice stayed calm but my heart pounded. She set the test down, her hands shaking worse now. "Connor, I need to tell you something." The walls felt like they were closing in. I gripped the bathroom counter, my knuckles turning white. "Just say it." She took a deep breath, tears starting to stream down her face. "I made a terrible mistake." The words came out broken, quiet. "It happened once. I was drunk. I wasn't thinking clearly. Oh, I already knew. Somehow I already knew. But I needed to hear her say it." She couldn't look at me. Her whole body was trembling now. "Your dad." The bathroom spun. Those 2 words destroyed everything. 7 years of marriage, trust, building a life together, gone in 2 words. "Your dad," she repeated, sobbing now. "Connor, I'm so sorry." I wanted to scream, to throw something, to break down. Instead, I walked out of the bathroom. My legs felt like concrete. I made it to our bedroom and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at nothing. Nicole followed me, still crying, trying to explain. "It was one time. We were both grieving your mom. He was lonely. I had too much wine. It meant nothing." Every word felt like a knife. "One time." I finally spoke. "When?" "2 months ago." She sat far from me on the bed. "After that charity dinner at his house. You had food poisoning, remember? You went home early." I remembered. I'd felt sick and left around 9. Nicole stayed to help Dad clean up. She came home at midnight, a little drunk, and went straight to bed. That night. That specific night. My father had sex with my wife while I was homesick. The calculation was simple and devastating. 2 months ago meant the baby was definitely his. Not mine. Our 3 years of trying and she gets pregnant immediately with him. "Are you keeping it?" The question came out flat, emotionless. She looked shocked. "Connor, I don't know. I haven't thought that far. We need to figure this out together." There was no together anymore. That ended 2 months ago. I stood up and grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" "Away from you." I drove to my best friend Paolo's apartment across town. He opened the door in sweatpants, holding a beer, clearly not expecting company at 10 o'clock on a Thursday night. "Connor? What's wrong?" "Everything." I pushed past him into his living room. Paolo and I had been friends since high school. He was the only person I trusted completely. I told him everything while he sat there, beer forgotten, his face going from confused to angry to disgusted. "Your dad? Your actual dad?" He stood up, pacing. "That's beyond messed up, man. That's unforgivable." "I know. Does he know about the baby?" "Not yet. Nicole just took the test tonight." Paolo shook his head in disbelief. "What are you going to do?" "I don't know." I felt completely empty inside, like someone had scooped out my insides. "Call a lawyer first thing tomorrow." Paolo's voice was firm. "Don't make any decisions about the marriage until you talk to someone who knows what they're doing." "You're right. Do you have anywhere to stay tonight?" "You can crash here as long as you need." I nodded, grateful. One more thing, Paolo. What? Don't tell anyone yet. I need time to think. I barely slept that night on Paolo's couch. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them together. My wife and my father. The two people I trusted most in the world. By morning, I'd made a decision. I wasn't going to fall apart. I wasn't going to beg or scream or break down. I was going to be smart about this. Methodical. Cool. At 8 in the morning, I called Stanley Morrison, a divorce attorney Paolo recommended. His secretary scheduled me for that afternoon. Then I called my office and took a personal day. Nicole texted me 17 times. I ignored all of them. Instead, I drove to a bank across town and opened a new account in just my name. I transferred half of our joint savings, exactly my legal right. Then I went to our storage unit and collected important documents. Birth certificate, passport, investment records, everything I'd need. By noon, I'd secured my finances and critical paperwork. At 2, I sat in Stanley's office, a clean modern space with law books lining the walls. He listened to my story without interrupting, taking notes on a yellow legal pad. Stanley was in his 50s, gray hair, sharp eyes that missed nothing. Mr. Walsh, this is one of the most unusual cases I've encountered. Your wife's infidelity with your father creates unique legal considerations. Can I prove it? I need evidence for the divorce. The pregnancy test is physical evidence. His pen tapped against the pad. We'll need paternity testing, but Oregon is a no-fault divorce state. We don't actually need to prove adultery to dissolve the marriage. But I want to. Stanley studied me carefully. For the emotional satisfaction or for legal advantage? Both. He nodded slowly. I understand. The betrayal here is profound. However, I advise focusing on protecting your assets and ensuring a clean separation. Revenge often backfires in family court. This isn't about revenge. My voice was steady. It's about justice. They need to face consequences. Fair enough. Let me ask you something. Do you own property together? Our house. We bought it 3 years ago. Joint mortgage. What about retirement accounts, investments? I have a 401k from work. She has one too. We have a joint investment account with about $40,000. Stanley wrote everything down. Any children from the marriage? No. Just the one she's pregnant with now. That's my father's. Stanley's advice was clear and practical. File for divorce immediately, citing irreconcilable differences. Request division of all marital assets 50-50. Most importantly, establish that any child born after separation wasn't mine legally. Oregon law presumes any baby born during marriage is the husband's child unless proven otherwise. We need to prevent that presumption. Oh. Paternity test as soon as legally possible. I'll file a motion requesting one. You'll also need to move out of the shared home or have her move out. Establish physical separation immediately. I'm staying with a friend. Good. Don't go back except to collect your belongings and bring a witness when you do. He handed me his card. I'll draft the divorce petition today. You'll need to serve her formally, probably by this weekend. How long does divorce take in Oregon? Minimum 90 days, but with property division and her pregnancy, expect 4 to 6 months. I stood to leave, then remembered. One more thing. My father doesn't know about the pregnancy yet. Should I tell him? Stanley considered this. That's your choice, but I'd document everything. Record conversations if Oregon allows it. Oregon is a one-party consent state. You can record without telling them. I bought a small voice recorder at an electronics store on my way back to Paolo's place. Then I sat in my car outside my father's house for 20 minutes, building courage. His Mercedes was in the driveway. He was home from work already, probably relaxing with bourbon and the evening news. I thought about all those Sunday dinners. All those times he gave me advice about life, about being a man, about treating women with respect. All lies. Every word from his mouth was poison now. I turned on the recorder, put it in my jacket pocket, and walked to his front door. He answered on the second knock, surprise and guilt flashing across his face before he covered it with a smile. Connor, this is unexpected. Come in. I stepped inside the house where I'd grown up, where Mom had lived and loved and died. It felt like a stranger's home now. We need to talk, Dad. His smile faded. He knew. Somehow he already knew why I was there. Son, let me explain. There's nothing to explain. My voice came out colder than I expected. You slept with my wife. The words hung in the air between us like smoke. William, my dad, the man I'd respected my entire life, just stood there. He didn't deny it. Didn't try to lie. He just looked old, suddenly tired. How did you find out? Nicole's pregnant. She told me everything. He went pale, gripping the back of his leather chair. Pregnant? She's keeping it? I don't know. I don't care. That's between you and her now. Connor, please sit down. Let me explain what happened. I didn't move from where I stood. The recorder in my pocket captured everything. There's no explanation that makes this acceptable. You're my father. I know. His voice cracked. I've destroyed everything. When Mom died, something broke inside me. I was lonely, drinking too much. Nicole was around so often, being kind, and one night things just happened. Things just happened? I laughed bitterly. That's your excuse? It wasn't an excuse. He looked at me with tears forming. It was the worst mistake of my life. I've been sick about it for 2 months. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I'm a coward. He collapsed into the chair. Because I couldn't face losing you. Well, you've lost me now. I turned to leave. Connor, wait. Please. I have everything. The house, the business, my retirement accounts. We can figure out a way through this. Keep your money. I headed for the door. That recording was gold. I played it for Stanley the next morning in his office. Your father essentially confessed to everything. This helps tremendously even in a no-fault state. It shows consciousness of guilt. Good. What's next? He slid papers across his desk. Sign these. We'll file today and have Nicole served tomorrow. Do you want to be present when she receives the papers? No. I never wanted to see her again. Stanley nodded approvingly. Smart. Maintain distance. Don't communicate except through me or in writing. What about the house? Can you afford the mortgage on your own? No. Then we'll force a sale and split proceeds. She won't have a choice. That afternoon, I went to our house with Paolo as witness. Nicole's car wasn't there. She was at work, thank God. We moved quickly. I packed clothes, personal items, my laptop, and important keepsakes. 30 minutes total. As we loaded boxes into my car, I looked at the house one last time. We'd been so happy here. Painted the kitchen together, planted the garden, talked about which room would be the nursery someday. All those dreams felt like someone else's life now. Let's go. Paolo touched my shoulder. You okay? I will be. Nicole was served divorce papers at her office on Friday morning. I know because she called me immediately, hysterical. Connor, please answer. We need to talk. Divorce? You're really doing this? I didn't answer. She left 12 voicemails. Each one more desperate than the last. Stanley advised me to save them all as evidence. By Friday evening, my father started calling too. I ignored him as well. Instead, I focused on work, burying myself in spreadsheets and tax returns. My boss noticed I looked terrible but didn't pry. I was grateful. The following Tuesday, Paolo and I grabbed dinner at a sports bar downtown. How are you holding up? He asked between bites of his burger. Day by day. I pushed food around my plate. Not sleeping much. That's normal. Betrayal trauma is real. You should maybe talk to someone professional. Maybe. I wasn't ready for therapy. Not yet. Paolo hesitated, then continued. I heard through the grapevine that Nicole's been telling people you abandoned her while she's pregnant. Trying to make herself the victim. Of course she is. I felt anger rising but pushed it down. Let her talk. The truth will come out. Speaking of truth, when are you going public with what they did? I had a plan forming. The plan was simple but effective. I wasn't going to hide what happened. I wasn't going to protect their reputations. They wanted to destroy my life, so I'd let everyone know exactly who they were. That weekend, I wrote a detailed Facebook post. I kept it factual, not emotional. No name calling or dramatics. Just the truth. After 7 years of marriage, I've filed for divorce from Nicole. She's pregnant, but the child isn't mine. Through her own admission, the father is my dad, William Walsh. This happened 2 months ago while I was homesick. I'm sharing this because people will ask questions, and I'd rather everyone hear the truth directly from me. I ask for privacy during this difficult time. Before posting, I showed it to Stanley. He read it twice. Legally, this is risky. She could claim defamation. Is it true? Every word. Then it's not defamation. Truth is an absolute defense. He handed my phone back. But expect fallout. I posted it at 8 on Saturday night. By 9, my phone exploded. Texts, calls, messages from family, friends, old college roommates, co-workers. Everyone shocked, supportive, angry on my behalf. My aunt called crying. My cousin offered to beat up my dad. It felt good, the support. But the best part was knowing Nicole and William were seeing it too. Seeing everyone know what they'd done. The post went viral in our social circle. Over 300 comments by midnight. People were vicious toward Nicole and my father. Someone started a thread discussing what terrible people they were. My father's business partner called him demanding explanations. Nicole's friends abandoned her one by one. By Sunday morning, my father posted his own response. I made an unforgivable mistake that has destroyed my family. I take full responsibility. I'm deeply sorry to my son Connor and to everyone I've hurt. Nothing I say can undo the damage. I'm seeking help and removing myself from family business matters until I can make amends. Too little too late. Nicole tried to post something too, but the comments were so brutal she deleted it within an hour. She sent me a long email instead, begging me to take down my post. You're humiliating me publicly. People are calling me horrible names. I'm pregnant and stressed and this isn't good for the baby. I responded with one line. You should have thought about that before sleeping with my father. Stanley called Monday morning. Your post worked perhaps too well. Nicole's attorney contacted me. She's extremely upset about the public shaming. Good. She deserves worse. I understand your anger, but we need to stay professional. Her lawyer wants to negotiate terms. The negotiation happened in Stanley's conference room on Wednesday. Nicole sat across from me with her attorney, a sharp woman named Patricia Hughes. Nicole looked awful. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back messily, wearing sweatpants. She wouldn't meet my gaze. Patricia spoke first. My client wants a fair division of assets and requests that Mr. Walsh remove his defamatory social media posts. Stanley didn't miss a beat. The post contains only truthful statements. It stays up unless Mrs. Walsh wants to discuss additional concessions. Like what? Primary ownership of the house. I spoke directly to Nicole for the first time. You don't get to keep our home. She finally looked at me, tears streaming. Connor, please. I made one mistake. One mistake. I kept my voice level. You destroyed 7 years of marriage. You slept with my father. You got pregnant with his baby. That's not one mistake. That's a series of deliberate choices. Patricia interrupted. My client was in a vulnerable emotional state. She's seeking counseling and wants to repair the relationship if possible. I laughed coldly. There's nothing to repair. This marriage is over. We're here to divide assets, nothing more. The negotiation took 3 hours. Final terms: house would be sold and proceeds split equally, all joint accounts divided 50-50, each kept their own retirement accounts, and I kept my car while she kept hers. One sticking point remained. The baby. Nicole wants you to acknowledge potential future paternity claims. Patricia pushed papers forward. If DNA testing proves the child isn't your father's, she reserves the right to petition for child support. Absolutely not. I stood firm. That child has nothing to do with me. I won't be on the birth certificate. I won't have any legal relationship to it whatsoever. Stanley backed me up. My client has no biological connection to this child. He has no legal or financial responsibility. Patricia frowned. If William Walsh refuses to acknowledge paternity, my client needs protection. Then she should take that up with William. Not my problem. Nicole finally spoke, her voice small and broken. Connor, what if he won't help me? What if I'm alone with this baby? Still not my problem. I gathered my things. You made choices. Now live with the consequences. She started sobbing. Patricia put an arm around her. We'll petition William Walsh directly for paternity testing and support. Good luck with that. I walked out feeling lighter than I had in weeks. The divorce was moving forward. Assets would be divided. I was free. Outside, Stanley caught up with me. That was harsh in there. She deserved harsh. Maybe, but don't let anger consume you. You've won. She's facing consequences. Time to focus on rebuilding your life. He was right. But I wasn't done yet. My father tried to meet with me several times over the next few weeks. I refused each time. He sent letters to Paolo's apartment, long handwritten apologies that I threw away without reading. He called from different numbers when I blocked his cell. He even showed up at my office once, but security escorted him out. I wanted nothing to do with him. Then Nicole had the baby in December. A boy. 7 pounds, healthy according to the birth announcement her mother posted online. The announcement carefully avoided mentioning a father. I felt nothing looking at that baby's photo. No connection, no curiosity. Just relief that it wasn't mine. Stanley called the day after the birth. Paternity test results came back. Want to know? Tell me. Not your biological child. Confirmed. William Walsh is the biological father. He's refusing to acknowledge the baby publicly or provide support. Interesting. Is Nicole pursuing legal action? Her attorney filed papers yesterday. She's demanding child support and public acknowledgement of paternity. Good. Let them destroy each other. I hung up and went back to work. The divorce was finalized in February, exactly 6 months after I'd found out about the betrayal. The house sold quickly. I got my share of the equity and used it for a down payment on a small condo across town. New place, new start. Life slowly returned to normal, or a new version of normal. I threw myself into work and got promoted to senior accountant. Paolo introduced me to his girlfriend's friend Vanessa in March. We went on a few dates. Nothing serious, but it felt good to remember I could trust someone new eventually. My father's business suffered badly. The scandal damaged his reputation. Clients left. His business partner bought him out at a reduced price. Word was he'd sold his big house and moved to a smaller place outside the city. I didn't care. I ran into Nicole once by accident at a grocery store in April. She was pushing a stroller, looking exhausted. The baby was crying. She saw me and froze. We stared at each other across the produce section. She opened her mouth like she wanted to say something. I turned and walked away. Later, I heard she'd moved back in with her parents. Single motherhood was hard without support. William still wouldn't acknowledge the baby publicly, though court orders forced him to pay child support. Their relationship had apparently deteriorated into bitter legal fights. Everything they'd destroyed my life for had turned to ashes for them too. Some people might call that karma. I called it justice. One Saturday in May, almost a year after everything happened, I was at Paolo's place watching basketball when my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Hello? Connor? It was my father's voice, older sounding, tired. Don't hang up. Please. I should have. But something made me listen. I have cancer. Lung cancer, stage 3. The doctors say maybe a year, possibly less. I'm sorry to hear that. My voice was flat, emotionless. I need to see you. To apologize properly. Face to face. We've been over this. There's nothing to say. There's everything to say. He coughed, a wet, painful sound. I'm dying, son. I want to make peace before I go. Paolo watched me, his expression saying I should hang up. You made your choices. Now you have to live with them. Or die with them. Connor, please. I'm begging you. One conversation. That's all I ask. I'll think about it. I hung up before he could respond. Paolo immediately jumped in. You're not seriously considering seeing him. He's dying. So what? He killed your marriage. He betrayed you in the worst way possible. I know. But he's still my father. Paolo shook his head. Don't let guilt manipulate you. That's exactly what he's doing. Maybe. I stared at my phone. Or maybe I need closure. I didn't visit him right away. I made him wait 3 weeks while I decided. Stanley advised against it. What's the benefit? You've moved on. Opening old wounds helps no one. My therapist, who I'd finally started seeing in March, had a different view. Forgiveness isn't for him. It's for you. But only if you're ready. Don't feel pressured. Finally, on a Tuesday afternoon in June, I drove to his new address. A small ranch house in the suburbs, nothing like his previous mansion. He answered the door looking skeletal. He'd lost maybe 40 pounds. His skin was gray. The cancer was eating him alive. Come in. His voice was weak. We sat in his sparse living room. No expensive furniture anymore. Just basics. He'd lost everything too. The silence stretched between us. I'm sorry. He started crying immediately. I've said it 1,000 times, but I need you to hear it. What I did was unforgivable. Monstrous. I destroyed the 2 most important relationships in my life for one drunken night. I let him talk. He went on for 20 minutes. Explaining his loneliness after Mom died, his self-destructive behavior, how much he regretted everything. When he finished, I spoke quietly. I don't forgive you. He nodded, wiping tears. I understand. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I want you to know I'm proud of you. How you handled everything with dignity. You're a better man than I ever was. We sat there for another hour. He told me about his health, his regrets, his hope that maybe we could have some relationship before he died. I didn't promise anything. But I didn't leave angry either. As I got up to go, he stopped me. One more thing. Nicole has tried to contact me about the baby. Wants me to be involved. I've refused. That boy deserves better than me as a father. For once, we agree on something. I headed for the door. Connor, he called after me. Will you come back? Maybe. I left without looking back. The drive home felt strange. I didn't feel satisfied or vindicated. Just tired. Tired of anger, tired of pain, tired of the whole mess. Paolo called that evening. How'd it go? Strange. I told him everything. Think you'll visit again? Probably not. He's not going to change and I'm not going to pretend everything's okay. Fair enough. Paolo paused. You know what? You survived something that would have destroyed most people. You should be proud. I hadn't thought about it that way. Maybe I was proud. Proud that I'd handled things with my head instead of just my heart. Proud that I'd protected myself legally and financially. Proud that I hadn't fallen apart. The revenge wasn't dramatic or explosive. It was cold, calculated, and completely effective. Sometimes that's the best kind. Months passed. Summer turned to fall. My father's health declined rapidly. He went into hospice in October. I visited him twice more, short visits where we didn't talk about the past. Just sat together quietly. He died on November 3rd, 1 year and 7 months after destroying my marriage. I went to the funeral. Small gathering, maybe 20 people. His business partner gave a polite but hollow eulogy. I didn't speak. Nicole showed up with the baby, now a toddler walking unsteadily. She kept her distance from me. After the service, she approached carefully. "I'm sorry for your loss." "Thank you." My response was automatic, emotionless. He was a complicated man. That's one word for it. Awkward silence. The toddler pulled at her hand, whining. She picked him up. "This is William Jr. We call him Billy." I didn't ask to meet him. Didn't want to hold him or acknowledge him beyond a brief glance. Nicole got the message. "Well, take care of yourself, Connor." "You too." She walked away and I felt absolutely nothing. No anger, no pain, no connection. They were strangers now. That chapter was closed. At the burial, I stood alone while they lowered the casket. People offered condolences I barely heard. I was already thinking about tomorrow, about moving forward, about the life I was building without any of them in it. The estate settlement came through in January. My father had left everything to me. What little remained anyway. About $80,000 after debts and legal fees. His will specifically stated nothing for Nicole or the child. His attorney read the relevant section. "To my son Connor, who I failed in the worst way possible. This is inadequate compensation for my betrayal, but it's all I have left to give. I hope someday you'll remember the good years before I destroyed everything." Nicole tried to contest the will, claiming the child deserved something. Her lawyer argued for a portion based on biological connection. Stanley shut it down quickly. The deceased had every right to distribute his estate as he chose. The child has no legal claim. Case dismissed. I donated half the inheritance to a men's mental health charity. The rest went into investments for my future. Money couldn't fix what had been broken, but it could help build something new. By spring, I'd been dating Vanessa seriously for 8 months. She knew my whole story. I'd been honest from the start about my trust issues and baggage. She was patient, understanding, never pushing too hard. We took things slow. In April, she met Paolo and his girlfriend. The 4 of us had dinner at a nice Italian place. It felt normal. Good. Like maybe I could have that kind of happiness again someday. I never saw Nicole again after the funeral. Through mutual connections, I heard she struggled. Single motherhood was harder than she'd expected. Her parents helped, but relationships there were strained. Her career never recovered from the scandal. Last I heard, she'd moved to Seattle for a fresh start. I wished her no specific harm, but I didn't wish her well either. She was just someone who used to be in my life. Billy, the child, would grow up never knowing me. That was for the best. He'd have enough confusion about his parentage without adding me to the mix. I hoped he turned out better than his father. 2 years after the divorce, I stood in my condo looking at old photos. Pictures of Nicole and me on our wedding day, smiling and in love. Photos of my father and me fishing at my college graduation, building furniture together. All those memories felt like they belonged to someone else now. A different Connor in a different life. Paolo knocked and let himself in with his spare key. "You okay?" "Found these in a box." I held up a wedding photo. Was just remembering. He looked at the picture, then at me. "You going to keep torturing yourself?" "No." I walked to the kitchen and threw all the photos in the trash. Not torture. Just closure. Good. He grabbed 2 beers from my fridge. "Because Vanessa's waiting for us at the restaurant, and you're not showing up all depressed." "I'm not depressed. Just reflective." "Save the reflection." He handed me a beer. "Tonight we celebrate." "Celebrate what?" "You surviving. You winning. You building a whole new life." We clinked bottles. To surviving. To winning. And to never making the same mistakes again. If you're reading this, maybe you're going through something similar. Maybe someone you trusted betrayed you in a way that felt impossible to survive. I want you to know something important. You can survive it. Not just survive, but actually build something better on the other side. The key is staying smart when everything in you wants to fall apart. Document everything. Protect yourself legally and financially. Don't let emotion override strategy. Get good legal help. Lean on real friends. And don't be ashamed to feel whatever you feel. 3 years later, I'm genuinely happy. Vanessa and I got engaged last month. We're planning a small wedding, nothing fancy. Paulo's my best man, obviously. I have a good job, a nice home, and people in my life I trust completely. The betrayal doesn't define me anymore. It's just something that happened, something I got through. Nicole's choices destroyed her life more than mine. My father died alone and filled with regret. I didn't need to destroy them. They destroyed themselves. That's the real lesson here. When people betray you, the best revenge isn't dramatic confrontation. It's protecting yourself, moving forward, and building a life so good they'll regret what they lost. Thank you for reading my story. If it helped you, share it. Someone else might need to hear it too.